Hello students, this is my first video for my unit on matter. This is the first lesson I'm going to go through with you through this video chat. There's also a worksheet attached to this video chat and another little extension that is going to be included with this video chat that you'll have to do to complete this assignment. Okay, so first off, I have to introduce this unit, which is a science unit, grade 5, on matter. So, what we're going to learn today are the different properties of matter. So first off, the very first thing we have to learn is what is matter. And technically matter is everything. It's me, it's this bunny hug / hoodie I'm wearing right now. It's all around us, it's the air we breathe. It is technically everything. Okay? Anything that has mass is considered matter. So now we got to get into what mass is. So mass is the gravitational pull that is on objects. So when I drop this water bottle, gravity puts it down. So the gravitational pull is what mass is. Volume. Volume, the example I'm going to use for this is my hair. Volume is, you hear about it all the time in shampoo commercials, wanting lots of volume in your hair, lush volume, right? Well, hair is just the example I'm using, but volume is the amount of space something takes up. So you're going to be asked what's the difference between mass and volume. Mass is technically the weight, volume's technically the amount of space. I've heard a saying one time about what weighs more, a pound of feathers or a pound of quarters. And they actually both weigh the same because they're both a pound. But usually the feathers would probably take up a lot more space and take up a lot more volume, correct? As in the quarters would probably not take up as much space and be more dense. So the next definition I'm going to go over is texture. And the example I'm going to use is this rice cake. So the texture of it is a little bit hard. Okay? So, it's a little bit rigid. I shouldn't say hard. That's another one we're going to come into soon. But yeah, it's a little bit rigid. How does it feel? And you're going to be asked to, like, some things maybe possibly how does dirt feel and stuff like that. When you're talking about the feeling of something, that would be the texture of an object. Okay? Next one is going to be hardness. And I'm going to show you a bad example of what hardness is. My broken iPod. Now, hardness is defined as something that how much pressure something can sustain without making a crack or a scratch. My iPod didn't last too long. A good example of this would be, that I don't have around, would be a diamond. A diamond, one reason they're, I guess, so valuable, other than being really rare, is that they're really hard objects. And it's very difficult to break when it's practically impossible to break diamonds. So that would be a great example of hardness. How much pressure an object can take before it shows a scratch. Okay, next thing I'm going to define for you is strength. Okay, strength is defined as how much an object can hold before breaking. A great example of this would be my desk. It is holding my printer, some cereal, picture frame, telephone, bunch of things. So this desk has a lot of strength. Okay. Absorbency now. Okay. For absorbency, I'm going to use this rag. And this rag absorbs this water. The definition of absorbency is how much an object can absorb, or how much an object can take in a liquid. So a sponge would be another great example of absorbency. There's a couple others. Flexibility, which is kind of similar to strength in some ways, a little bit different, but how much an object can bend before it breaks. So this toothbrush is a good example, and it can bend a decent amount before it breaks, so it is quite flexible. There's some other objects that are a little bit more flexible. Hockey sticks is a good example of flexibility. Yeah. Next thing I'm going to define for you is buoyancy. Buoyancy is how well an object can float. So a good example of that would be a boat floating, rubber ducky in the bathtub. Bad example would probably be this pencil. Doesn't float too well in this water I have in this cup, right? If I had a rubber ducky, hopefully a bigger cup, it'd float fairly well in this water. Okay. Next thing I want to define for you is color. So color is pretty obvious. It's just what the color of an object is, basically. It's just as straightforward definition as possible. So the worksheet I have for you down below is there's going to be descriptions of these questions, a lot of these examples I just gave to you, and you have to connect the definition to the best suited answer. Okay? And if you need to rewatch this video for help, you can do that. Another thing I'm going to get you to do is I want you to take 2 of these definitions. I want you to take a picture on your trip and send those back to me of an example of 2 of these properties of matter. And I am going to send you 2 pictures of an example of 2 of these definitions of something that I would want. Okay, so thank you. That is the video for my first lesson. I hope you enjoyed and you understand and learn. Email me if you have any questions.